I'm going to show you the exact month-by-month cash burn ledger that determines whether your brand survives past its first 90 days or quietly dies in the graveyard of failed startups. Professionals set up using their standard plan alongside essential applications for email automation via Klaviyo, advanced product reviews, data analytics, and real-time inventory management costs $2,345 for the first year. This is a fixed operational cost that ensures your digital storefront functions exactly like a premium consumer brand. If you have $500, you do not have a candle business. You have an expensive hobby that is about to subsidize your friends with free gifts. The internet is flooded with scrap store tutorials showing you how to melt wax in a pot and how people are earning $20,000 a month. Social media is flooded with challenges like day 15 of 100 or day 20 of 100 to make $1 million. But trust me, everything that you see is a lie. An absolute 101% blunt, plain lie. Because business is not done that way. You will never see a real businessman like Elon Musk or Warren Buffett on social media bluffing how much they make in X days. Real businessmen hide things and will never ever tell you his secret recipe of a secret soup. As a matter of fact, 90% of so-called social media influencers are fake and strugglers in their real life. Struggling is not bad, but being a struggler, directing people wrong, is wrong. But if you are interested in doing real business the actual hard way, like serious businessmen do, then you need to understand the core finance behind it. Majority of the early stage motivated founders completely ignore local zoning laws, product liability insurance, cost of production, revenue models, risk mitigation, niche marketing, the nitty-gritties of logistics and supply chain, and the brutal reality of paid customer acquisition. In this video, we are continuing our candle business breakdown series by building a bulletproof financial blueprint. We will map out every single dollar required for verified equipment, government permits, federal safety compliance, and digital infrastructure. More importantly, I'm going to show you the exact month-by-month cash burn ledger that determines whether your brand survives past its first 90 days or quietly dies in the graveyard of failed startups. By the time this episode ends, you will know the exact capital threshold required to step upon the playing field as a true corporate entity. Hi, I'm Ataur Rahman. I'm a business transformation specialist with 15 years of global experience managing portfolios across 5 countries. As a former entrepreneur, I've also been in your shoes. I successfully bootstrapped, scaled, and exited my own venture, delivering a 62x return on investment. If you want to build a highly profitable business from scratch, here is the exact financial blueprint right from the founder's mouth. Let us begin with the absolute foundation of your operations, the physical space where your product is manufactured and the machinery required to produce it. If you believe you can simply pour candles in your personal home kitchen, you are likely violating local municipal zoning laws and completely invalidating your insurance policy. To build a legitimate enterprise, you have 2 capital pathways: the lean bootstrap model or the optimized growth model. Let us audit the minimum viable entry point first, utilizing a professional shared commercial kitchen space to maintain complete regulatory compliance from day one. For our minimum requirement tier, we allocate $2,600 to secure a safe, climate-controlled, shared commercial kitchen space. This includes your first month of rent at $1,200, an identical $1,200 security deposit, and $200 in initial setup and excess fees. From there, we outfit your production line with high-quality, verified equipment sourced directly from industrial suppliers. We are budgeting $450 to cover your stainless steel pouring pots, precision digital scales that read down to 1/10 of a gram, digital thermometers, wick cutting tools, protective safety gear, ventilation ducting, and commercial metal storage shelving. Now we must fund your very first production run of 500 candles. To ensure your unit economics remain perfectly accurate to standard packaging sizes, we are focusing on a highly profitable 4-ounce travel size container with a 3-ounce net wax fill weight. To yield these 500 units, we physically require 94 pounds of premium soy wax flakes costing $235 and 5 liters of professional fragrance oil at $90, while your glass vessels account for $600. When you add your cotton wicks, tabs, adhesive dots, custom label stock, structural craft retail boxes, protective tissue packaging, and mandatory federal warning labels, your total raw material investment comes to exactly $1,550. This brings the entire Tier 1 facility and equipment startup cost to $4,600. If you possess deeper capital reserves, you can choose to bypass the bootstrap model and launch directly into Tier 2, the optimized budget. While your facility cost remains stable at $2,600, we upgrade your machinery to an automated, high-capacity electrical melting warmer, industrial-grade 5kg precision scales, custom thermal label printers, and enhanced 6-inch exhaust ventilation. This pushes your equipment subtotal to $800. For your raw materials, we scale up to premium soy wax blends and high-grade fragrance oil from specialized houses, while moving to custom molded glass vessels with fitted lids. This optimized raw material run requires $1,610, bringing your total Tier 2 facility and equipment budget to $5,010. The absolute fastest way to get completely wiped out in business is to ignore the legal architecture of your industry. There is no singular candle business license, but you are manufacturing a highly flammable consumer item that people burn inside their homes. This places you directly under the strict jurisdiction of federal regulations. First, you must secure product liability insurance. This coverage baseline is your safety net or protection limit. It is the maximum amount the insurance company will pay out to a customer if a candle causes property damage or injury. For a standard $1 million per ounces and $2 million aggregate policy, premium providers like the Hartford or State Farm will quote you roughly $500 to $750 per year. This verified underwriting is the market price range. This is what insurance companies actually charge you out of pocket per year to buy that safety net. This amortized optimizing cost of $50 per month is actually your monthly budget number. To run a clean spreadsheet, we pick the exact midpoint of the market price, which is $600 per year, and divided it by 12 months. That gives us $50 per month, so you can track your ongoing cash flow. Do not write this off as optional. A single product failure without insurance means personal financial ruin. Now, if we talk about the federal safety compliance, the Consumer Product Safety Commission requires a strict adherence to fire safety protocols. You must budget $850 to conduct mandatory testing, which covers flame height parameters, tie over stability metrics, and end-of-life burn safety reports. If you wish to bypass this upfront cash outlay, your only legal alternative is to purchase pre-certified vessels directly from verified domestic suppliers, which will add roughly 20 cents to your individual per unit cost. Furthermore, you must comply with the Federal Hazardous Substance Act, which requires clear ingredient verification and custom design safety labels. This adds another $400 for compliant safety label design and your first product print run. With all this, the total federal compliance outlay in Tier 1 comes to $1,250, while under Tier 2, it comes to $1,850. On the top of federal law, you must clear your local state level requirements. While candle brands are completely exempt from food safety inspections or cottage food restrictions, you will still face state registration and local tax obligations. If you register your entity in California, your baseline filing, statement of information, and local city permits will cost approximately $280. In Florida, your corporate registration and local county business tax receipts will total $170. New York averages $200, while Texas enters at a lean $100. Across the United States, the average state-level regulatory cost sits right at $250 for a standard setup, scaling up to $300 for comprehensive municipal filing under an optimized framework. To wrap up your legal infrastructure, we must account for professional services. Setting up a standard LLC, which is limited liability company, cost $150 across both tiers. Securing a corporate attorney to review your operational liability, website terms of service, and privacy policies require an initial investment of $400 under Tier 1 and $450 for an expanded contract review under Tier 2. Finally, professional branding and compliant label design cannot be outsourced to cheap automated tools. To establish true shelf presence, we budget $400 for basic branding in Tier 1 and up to $1,000 for comprehensive brand guidelines and structural packaging design in Tier 2. When we consolidate the federal outlays, the local state filings, and professional setup services, your true upfront regulatory and legal launch threshold is exactly $2,450 for the bootstrap model and $3,750 for the optimized framework. Now let us build the digital engine that will actually acquire your customers and generate revenue velocity. We completely reject generic website builders. To build an enterprise capable of handling high transaction volume, you must deploy on Shopify. A professional setup using their standard plan alongside essential applications for email automation via Klaviyo, advanced product reviews, data analytics, and real-time inventory management costs $2,345 for the first year. This is a fixed operational cost that ensures your digital storefront functions exactly like a premium consumer brand. Your marketing budget must be split into 2 strict phases to insulate you from burning capital on unoptimized campaigns. Phase 1 is a testing window, spanning months 1 through 3. The goal here is simple. Prove product market fit before scaling. We allocate $600 for highly targeted TikTok test ads to benchmark our cost per 1,000 impressions. We budget $300 for nano-influencers product samples where 20 creators are shipped physical units at our base manufacturing cost. When you add $200 for email list building and $400 for organic community seeding and media kits, your phase 1 testing budget totals exactly $1,550. You only proceed to phase 2 if your testing window proves that your return on ad spend is tracking above 2:1 ratio. If your metrics are positive, you move into aggressive customer acquisition across month 4 through month 6. We allocate $5,000 for a scaled paid social acquisition, splitting your spend between TikTok and Instagram. We layer in $450 for automated email retention loops, $900 for user-generated content creation and professional product photography, and $150 for Google Shopping feed optimization. This brings your phase 2 scaling budget to $6,500. When combined, your complete digital and marketing capital requirement is $3,895 for Tier 1 and $10,395 for Tier 2. Let us now consolidate all of our data into a singular master corporate capital summary. If you run a lean bootstrap model under Tier 1, combining your facility, legal compliance, and initial phase 1 testing, your precise entry cost is $10,945. However, if you execute the fully optimized Tier 2 model with superior equipment and an immediate 6-month marketing runway, your required capital is $19,155. The real-world data dictates that a serious founder must expect to spend between $11,000 to $19,000 to build a viable candle business in the United States. Now that you know the numbers, I want to show you exactly where most founders fail. The first trap is underestimating equipment durability. They purchase a cheap $35 melting pot on Amazon to save money, only for it to completely burn out by month 2. They end up buying an industrial replacement later anyway, spending triple their original budget through operational downtime. Second, and most catastrophically, they completely blind themselves to real marketing cost. They assume they can scale a brand organically through social media posts alone. The algorithmic reality in the United States is that organic reach averages less than 2%. If you do not budget for the realistic $35 customer acquisition cost before you launch, you will run completely out of oxygen before you clear the runway. The final structural failures happen in compliance and working capital. Founders try to take shortcuts by skipping mandatory consumer production safety testing. The moment a single untapped wick causes a vessel to crack, a federal complaint will instantly suspend their payment processor and erase their business overnight. Furthermore, they sign commercial leases without climate control, watching their entire summer inventory melt on the shelves. They spend every single dollar they have on launch day, leaving absolutely zero reserves to cover net 30 raw material cycle. To survive, you must structure your capital with a minimum $5,000 emergency working capital buffer that remains completely untouched until operational stress hits. To truly understand whether your enterprise will survive, you must look at a clear month-by-month cash burn ledger. Let us walk through a realistic scenario starting with $14,000 in initial capital, deploying the Tier 1 bootstrap framework. In month 1, your setup cost, shared kitchen deposits, federal compliance testing, initial inventory run, and digital platform architecture required an immediate cash outlay of $5,350. You generate zero revenue because your store is not yet live. You close out month 1 with exactly $8,650 remaining in the corporate bank account. In month 2, your storefront goes live. Your operational cash outflow is $2,650, which covers your monthly shared kitchen rent, basic material tops-offs, test marketing spend, and software subscriptions. Your early test campaigns bring in $1,500 in cash revenue. This means your net cash burn is $1,100, leaving you with $7,500 in reserve. By month 3, word of mouth and early customer retention begin to stabilize. Your cash outflow ticks up to $2,800 due to seasonal label adjustments, while your revenue scales up to $3,200. For the first time, you generate a positive net monthly cash flow of $400, bringing your total treasury back up to $7,900. Month 4 is your critical operational fork in the road. This is where you audit your data and make a definite decision. If your initial phase 1 campaigns proved that your marketing cost per acquisition is highly efficient, you unlock scenario A and aggressively scale your paid ad spend to $1,500 per month. This increases your total monthly cash outflow to $4,200, but it drives your sale volume up to $6,500 in revenue. This results in a positive net cash injection of $2,300, pushing your total running cash up to $10,200. By month 5 and 6, this profitable path compounds, driving your treasury balance to $18,200. However, if your phase 1 metrics demonstrate that your customer acquisition costs are completely inefficient, you hit scenario B. Instead of blindly burning cash on bad marketing, you immediately pause your paid ads and pivot your entire safety to pure organic distribution. Your month 4 cash outflow drops to $2,650, while your revenue slows down to $2,000. This subjects you to a net monthly loss of $650, lowering your cash balance to $7,250. In months 5, you remain stuck in a tight survival mode, generating a slow stream of small organic wins that brings your final treasury balance to $7,150. While next month, your final ending cash balance is $7,450. You are alive, but you are forced to pivot your core positioning. What this ledger proves is a fundamental law of corporate finance. Your initial startup cost only buys your ticket onto the playing field. It is your ongoing working capital that actually keeps you alive. As your brand begins to scale across months 4 through 6, you must fund a substantial inventory buffer of $3,000 to $5,000 to prevent stockouts. Concurrently, you must absorb a $2,000 to $3,000 cash flow lag to accommodate your supplier payment cycles. This means you need a minimum of $7,000 to $11,000 in liquid working capital, completely separate from your launch day expenses. To build a highly resilient candle brand, your true total capital target should look much closer to $22,000. Let us summarize everything that we have analyzed today into 5 absolute operational rules. First, budget a minimum of $14,000 to $16,000 just to get operational. Ignore anyone telling you otherwise. Second, protect an independent $8,000 to $10,000 capital buffer explicitly for your working capital needs. Third, plan for a realistic break-even timeline between month 7 and 10, not month 1 or 2. Fourth, remember that your first $5,000 is strictly allocated for asset testing, not scaling. And finally, expect your customer acquisition cost to be 3 times more expensive than you originally anticipated. Now, since you possess the authentic verified data, the real question you must ask yourself is not whether you can afford to launch, but whether you have the financial runway to survive your first 6 months. In the final installment of this Candle Business Breakdown series, we are tackling the master element that dictates long-term survival, your distribution and sales channel strategy. We will break down which specific channels deliver immediate high margin cash velocity and which boutique networks will trap your working capital and destroy your operational flow. You have mapped out your capital architecture. Now we will build your engine for profitable customer conversion. Hit subscribe, turn on notification, and I will see you in part 3.